everyone, let's go over the Holmes characterization assignment. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you've read A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. We're just reading the first two chapters of this story, but it'll give you a good background and understanding of who Sherlock Holmes is. So you're going to read that first, and you can either click on the link on this assignment, or you can read it in the classroom. Then you're going to complete part one. You're going to have to gather evidence from the text that tells the reader something about the kind of person Sherlock Holmes is. So please do not pull random ideas. You need to answer with details that help the reader learn about the main character, Sherlock Holmes. A big thing here, each box should contain no new examples, no repeats. So in other words, you can't say what details does Holmes notice in chapter 1. You can't use the same quote for this versus this. It needs to be two different pieces of evidence. So let's go over what you're going to need to analyze. So for part 1, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write down some details that Holmes notices or pays attention to. So think about as he's looking at things in our story, think about specifically what are some things that he notices. Big hint here, it's something a little different than what most people would notice. So think about that. Find examples from the text that shows the kind of things he pays attention to. Then, what kind of things does Holmes think about or know about? Okay, so this is different from what does he notice, but what does he think about? What does he know? What are some of his areas of expertise? Okay, then think about what the other characters in the story say about him. Okay, you need to provide something that Stanford says about him in chapter 1 and something that Watson says about him in chapter 2. Okay. Then, what does Holmes say? This also should be a direct quote. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. If you just give me some random quote where Holmes says something, you're not going to get points for this part. Give me an example of what Holmes says that kind of demonstrates the kind of person he is. Okay? Then, you're going to think about this. You're going to list 4 specific strengths that are Sherlock Holmes's, okay? Big hint here, look close at the end of chapter 1 and early in chapter 2. So in that part of the story, you get to see his strengths and then his weaknesses. Then, and again, I tell you where to find this, you'll find a physical description of him near the end of chapter 2. Look at his height, his build, his nose. What does he look like? Okay? Then, once you have done all of that, you're going to complete part 2. Okay? You're going to use this template here to complete the sentence. And you're going to write a paragraph about what kind of person Sherlock Holmes is. Okay? You need to pull evidence from your work above. So you're not going to need to go anywhere because you have in the story because you're going to have all of this right here. Okay? So this should be a full paragraph response. You can use this template here that gives you all sorts of character traits that help you narrow this down. So you're going to choose one strong adjective to be the claim of your first sentence. Then you're going to select specific words and actions of Holmes in these 2 chapters that support that claim. So you are pulling in one piece of text evidence about what Holmes says and one piece of text evidence of what Holmes does. So use things from the answers above, okay? Make sure your paragraph makes sense. The examples need to support the claim in your first sentence. The quote that you have from Holmes should be brief. Don't let it take over the paragraph, okay? Remember, I've read the story. I've read it several times. I'm seeing if you can do a character analysis and narrow down what kind of person he is, okay? So explain its relevance to the claim in the topic sentence. Then, the example of Holmes's behavior needs to be something he does, okay? So again, you're going to pull from this evidence up here and put it in your paragraph. And it should be well summarized and fully explained. The blank in the last sentence should contain a synonym for the adjective you put in the first blank. So you should not use the same word here as you use here. It should be something slightly different. Okay? If you have any questions at all, let me know. But other than that, I look forward to reading your character analysis of Sherlock Holmes. Thank you.